Oh, hi. Hello, neighbor. How you guys doing? It's 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and it is Thursday, the 17th of April, Abril, AD 2025. And we're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey, The Hake Report Thursday show, everybody. I may have a guest for you guys next week. One of the usual guys. Always an interesting vibe. Krishan the Dawn next week, perhaps, right? That's the idea. I was mentioning to the live audio listeners who hear me even before I click live on the video feed, that Joel Friday's final day of the week for his show is today. So do catch him if you so please. One of you I know don't please to catch Joel Friday. Bitter about his turtle treatment. Turtle power. But shout out, hey, there's no law that says you have to catch Joel Friday TV. Although, catch it now and then. Get over your bitterness and maybe exhort him if he needs some exhortation. I'm live on, it looks like I'm live on all my platforms, I think. Okay, so shout out to Jesse Lee Peterson raiding the stream over on the Rumble crew. What's up, 555-555-565 for your ice cream yesterday or today, I forget when it was. I'm live on BitChute. Nobody watches me on BitChute, and that's fine, but I am live there. Pretty cool. I'm live on Facebook, of course. You know what? I don't need to tell you everywhere that I'm live, but you can check it out. I mean, I'm live in more places than I list on my website, thehakereport.com. But I do try to list the places where you guys tend to go, just so that if somebody wants to find out where to go to watch Hake, to catch Hake, you can do it by going to thehakereport.com. And I try to list the useful links. Fair? Because whatever. Anyway, whatever. Don't put Hake in charge of your website. It'll go back and forth between way too much detail and not enough detail. And the design is iffy, but hey. Boomer shoot. Yeah, BitChute. BitChute. Supposedly it's a free speech platform. I appreciate them. They're Rumble really overtook them, kind of. I wanted to mention, as I get stuff ready over here, that these judges and liberals across the United States are trying to stand in the way of our greatest president and his team doing their job to be great, to make America great, rather than dysfunctional. And I get tempted sometimes to be worked up about it, but it has nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? When we'll just have to see what happens. In the world, I've gotten kind of used to the evil side winning. To the point where I'm like, it's not going to get better. Almost a can't do attitude. Well, I can't do anything about it. Trump can. And fortunately for all of us, he has a can-do attitude. If it's fortunate for all of us. I mean, it's for the good of the country, what he's doing. Most of it, I think. Deportation, for example. Defunding a bunch of the government. Those things are good things. And judges are trying to stop him. The different ACLU and other evil groups are trying to stop him. And they may be successful in areas. And you just have to be fine with it. Evil in the world. What, you surprised evil's in the world? Give me a break. What you gonna do? Be mad about it? It's horrible. And a whole lot of people just believe lies. So, keep it cool. Keep it cool. But I may cover that again. I was reading about it in Hake News to you guys. Different things going on in the world. I will take your calls if you so please. You're welcome to call in 1-888-775-3773. Evil in the world. I'll read your super chats. I don't know if I got to them all. I think, oh yeah, there was one from Cesar. Pardon me if you prefer Caesar. Let me know if you prefer Caesar. I had a Mexican friend named Cesar. He was a Whitexican. He got deported. And they called him Caesar sometimes. I had a coworker named Ramon. And the Mexicans sometimes called him Raymond. So shout out. Probably don't mind either way. Or you may not mind either way. People, I even sometimes answer to Jimmy now. Not that I prefer it. But I don't really have much preference. Anymore, maybe. Don't catch me in preschool, though. In preschool, I did not answer to Jimmy. So, let me make sure that I'm all set up before I get stuff playing. Anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I'm fine. I have my The Hake Report La 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 t-shirt on, and it's a size large. You proud of me? I'm chuckling because I'm picturing Joel Friday or JLP wearing a size large, and it's all like form-fitting on them. It's funny. But I like it. It reminds me a little bit of like Hassan for some reason. Hassan doesn't mind wearing big shirts. But this is not, I'm like, yes, it looks like I might be, compared to all my other tight medium shirts that are too tight and not comfortable, I'm like swimming in it. But no, it's great. It's sensible. And it's comfortable. This is the same style t-shirt as yesterday, just a size large as opposed to a size medium. And it looks and feels so much better overall, I think. Do I need to darken my monkey? Make him a little bit darker? Maybe. But nice. Get yours by going to thehakereport.com or hake.printify.me. If you go to thehakereport.com, here, let me show you. And it says shop right here. It says shop. Boom. And it opens up hake.printify.me, right? And it has the Hake Report, la, la, la. And yeah, I have one in lavender. Is that lavender? Oh, no, that's orchid. It's like a light purple thing. And there's pink. Because, you know, for the ladies. Or the guys who can pull it off successfully without looking not morally straight. So which one did I get? This is not ice blue. This is blue jean. It's a little bit different of a color from the ice blue that I wore yesterday. Let me prove it to you. Although it looks pretty similar. So that's blue jean. You see that? And then if you're watching the video feed, okay? And then here is the ice blue that I wore yesterday. And let me prove it to you on pardon me, this is maybe a little unprofessional, but I kind of like showing you guys just the different, because this is just a picture of it, right? You can see this one is, the ice blue is a little bit more of a bright blue, whereas the blue jean is a little bit more of a neutral purple blue. Both of them are pretty neutral blue colors. Neutral meaning, oops, I went to Joel Friday's channel. Neutral meaning having a little bit of brownish or tannish in it. Compare that to this. So you see Hake. See that? You notice it? You notice the difference? Watch. You see that? You can just, I don't know, I like to offer different colors for different shirts. Nice. Orchid is less morally straight than lavender, says some gal. All right, nice. So let's get into some of the news, though, shall we? Wow. If you go over to if we mosey on over to thehakereport.com and we look over in today's entry for the Hake Report episode, you can peruse the news. This is maybe the reason why many people did not get the schmack scene. They don't like needles, the China virus vax. That may be like the main reason. The other reason being, you're concerned about how your body may react. But this Jade Walker woman wrote the morning update from Commie Nonsense Network, stating, "I suffer from trypanophobia." Trypanophobia. And whoever heard of trypanophobia? As I ask, as I sit here in the Hake Report La 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 t-shirt with the monkey covering his ears so as not to hear Hake music, which you don't have to hear anymore, mostly, unless it's not copyrighted. But you're going to have to hear the fake news. I don't mind needles at all, says Coinzilla. I know, I've seen people you know how TV shows portray people doing drugs with needles? Why would you do a drug that involves needles? But some people are tough in some sense. Trypanophobia. They come up with all types of words for all these different fears. Phobia meaning fear or repulsion, but mainly fear, but also repulsed. But it's fear. And all kinds of words for perversions, too. Philia. Ugh. Just sounds gross. Nasty. But whoever heard of that? Did I already click that link? Many people, this was in 2021, many people won't get the vax because millions have a real fear of needles. Overcoming that is critical for the vaccine rollout, says Commie Nonsense Health in 2021, January. Just before Trump, or just after Trump was basically ousted, or just before he was fully ousted the first term. And so they're pushing the vax thing. Some medical student knows, oh, look at that. Safe and essential. Vaccinations are safe and essential. Getting one is an ordeal because this person has a needle phobia. Real clammy, cold sweats, this young lady says. Pass out. Ugh. All in your head. It's crazy, though. It's interesting. I know people who faint at the sight of blood because they get into their head about it. Crazy. And nice. I was talking on Well, we had a Punchy TV taping yesterday. Make sure you check that out. I was talking with Joelle and Nick, the anchor baby, about how people's fears sometimes they're impractical fears. Because this is an impractical fear to where you're passing out and you're like all that. That's not a practical fear. But even their impractical fears, there's some practicality to them that can protect you in some senses sometimes. It just so happens that it aligns that you shouldn't, maybe, in some cases, take that schmacks. Or you shouldn't necessarily open your mouth and speak up in a situation. There's a time to speak up, there's a time not to. Every time you're afraid to speak up is not necessarily a time to speak up, I think. Anyway, and this woman, she's pushing the shingles vaxx. They have a vaxx for everything, a shingles vaccine. If you have chicken pox as a kid, you have that virus in you forever, and it can emerge as shingles. Shingles is where you get like hives on one side of your body, if I understand it correctly. I knew someone who got shingles, stressed out in college, going crazy. People stressing themselves out, catching shingles. Whew. And they're trying to say it may also reduce the risk of dementia. That's when your mind goes. Don't want your mind to go, right? I think there's probably better ways to reduce your risks than getting a shingles smacks. It says may also reduce. I remember CJ from Texas telling us about there's stuff that like has just marginal maybe help. And then there's stuff that just full-blown 100, 200, 500% helps. I may be getting the numbers different from what he said, but he explained it very well. He's an engineer type of a guy. CJ from Texas. A lot of you guys don't like him, but he says some sense stuff, you know? So, watch out for the smacks propaganda. Doesn't that just feel like propaganda? They're always pro-vax. And I'm pro-vax. I am, I think. I'm not anti, necessarily. You could call me anti-needle. But there's also some legitimate questions that they don't want to. These dishonest people, if they were more honest, then we would listen to them. But they're not honest. And then the people on our side, they're not always honest either, or they're just sloppy thinkers, which leads to the wrong answers. If you're a sloppy thinker, you're going to end up repeating lies or making up stuff that's not true. Want to reduce your dementia risk? A shingles vaccine could help. I just scoff at it without even knowing the facts, because it just makes you want to scoff. It may not be manly to scoff. Okay, so Harvard. Is that enough on the shingles vax? Harvard, defy President Donald J. Trump and retribution will be swift. The White House sending to Harvard University. Harvard is not a respectable institution. It's funny to say that because it is, but it's not. It used to be, and it still kind of is. People are like, oh, I went to Harvard. And most of us sitting on the outside are like, no. We don't care that you're not a respectable person because you went to Harvard. In fact, it's like a count against you. Because all these institutions have become all hoity-toity, arrogant, liberal, communist tools for the devil. Some of them used to be Christian. I wonder how Christian they really were when they were Christian. Anchor Baby has cited, and I've referenced the rule that he has said, some man's name in a rule, that every conservative institution or group or whatever is going to get infiltrated by their enemies and subverted. Every single one. So they have refused to eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. So that's all evil stuff that they're clinging on to. And then there's this line, and audit the viewpoints of students, faculty, and staff. What are you talking about? Audit the viewpoints of students, faculty, and staff. What are you talking about? That sounds like a characterization, perhaps a mischaracterization of what Trump is asking for. The Trump team is asking for. And alter the rules for on-campus protests. In response, Trump froze $2.2 billion in federal grants at Harvard. I guess they have a lot of pursuits, so there's all kinds of different grants that they get, and it's all frozen. IRS reportedly making plans to rescind their tax-exempt status. I don't think that'll happen. Department of Homeland Security canceled 2 federal grants worth $2.7 million and threatened to strip Harvard of their ability to enroll international students. They probably get major money from international students. Those Asians and maybe even some Africans and things, unless they turn over their disciplinary records. Are there any like Europeans who'd go in there? Or is it all mostly Asian, Chinese and stuff? Trump trashed the school in a rant on based Truth Social. You ever go on Truth Social? I'm on Truth Social, the Hake Report. As the university grapples with the sudden loss of funding, Harvard researchers scrambling to figure out, because they're already doing studies and it's already in progress, what are you going to do? But they're weighing having to cut budgets and staff. 800 faculty members out of how many? I don't know. Have signed a letter urging the university to resist the Trump administration's demands. Ridiculous. They're so spoiled. And there's probably enough money to go around that they don't have to rely solely on the government, maybe. There's plenty of money for Satan's side. Have you noticed that? Did you notice that there's plenty of money for that black kid, young man, who allegedly stabbed and murdered or killed in quote-unquote self-defense? It's a stretch. But that white guy, he got more money than the white kid's family. Trump stated, everyone knows that Harvard has lost its way, quote-unquote. That's true. They hired from New York, Bill de Blasio, and Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, at ridiculously high salaries and fees, 2 of the worst, most incompetent mayors in the history of our country. Really? I didn't know that. To teach municipal management and government. Oh my goodness, is that true? These 2 radical left, capital R, capital L, fools left behind 2 cities that will take years to recover from their incompetence and evil. Right on, Trump. Facts and truth. Harvard has been hiring almost all woke, quote unquote. Well, I put quote unquote. He didn't put quote unquote. Radical left with capital letters, first letters. Idiots and bird brains, quote unquote, who are only capable of teaching failure to students and so-called future leaders. Look at just the recent past at their plagiarizing president. I don't remember that. It vaguely sounds somewhat familiar. Who so greatly embarrassed Harvard. Was that the black gal? I forget. Who so greatly embarrassed Harvard before the United States Congress. Was it a woman? I feel like it was a woman. If my memory serves me correctly. I vaguely recall it was a woman who they called her in front of Congress because they're being mean to the Jewish students. Not kids. Generally, kids don't go to college. When it got so bad they just couldn't take it anymore, they moved this grossly inept woman into another position, teaching rather than firing her on the spot. Since then, much else has been found out about her, but she remains in place. Many others, like these leftist, capital L, dopes, are teaching at Harvard, and because of that, Harvard can no longer be considered even a decent place of learning and should not be considered on any list of the world of the capital W worlds, capital G great, capital U universities or colleges. Harvard is a joke. Teaches hate and stupidity. Facts. and should no longer receive federal funds. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Right on, our greatest President Trump. How do I respond? Facts and truth. Let's see. And I'm going to truth to Trump because posts on Truth Social are called truths. That's the truth, Trump. I bet you he wrote that. You think he wrote that? I think he wrote that. That wasn't one of those things where somebody posted that for him. Maybe he dictated it. He may have dictated it. Trump escalated his spat with Harvard the other day, threatening their tax-exempt status after freezing billions in funding. It's ridiculous that they get that much funding. Some stuff they do may be useful, but a lot of it, mess. They, over their refusal to end DEI programs, to ban masks at protests. People are wearing masks at protests, you know, which I understand the desire for anonymity, but it also lets you get away with crimes. The black on the inside, the white on the inside White House. I'm so used to it being black on the inside. It's white on the inside again, because Trump is washed with the blood of Christ, washed white as snow. It's in the Bible. The White House said the president is looking for the university, what was that, oh, somebody followed me on Truth Social. Thank you, Cindy, shout out. The president's looking for the university to apologize for alleged episodes of anti-Semitism, all one word, no hyphen, to make it seem real, during protests against the war in Gaza. Yeah, the pro-Palestine people, the anti-Israel people, just the scum of the earth. It's just true, guys. It's true. But there's plenty of money. Plenty of money for Satan. Look at these dirty girls who make all kinds of money off of the. Rusty followed me on Truth Social. Nice. Shout out. That's funny. I'm not active on Truth Social, but thank you. Very kind. Appreciate it. Hey. I don't know if you guys are hearing my computer go off. Chrome is giving me notifications about Truth Social. Cool. Anyway. Let's see. Let me reconnect my thing. Oh, man. See, I put tape on my Ethernet. Let me show you how hokey my setup is. I put tape on my Ethernet, and it broke the tape. Someone get Bill to fix my Ethernet adapter. Is it Ethernet or Ethernet? I know that there's Ether. Well, he's not going to fix it right now, but I'm sorry. I'm just complaining out loud. The producer's trying to... You can, if you find him, then you can complain to him for me. But thanks. I complained to him on Sunday. It's always falling out. It's not tight anymore. Anyway, let's get to some calls here. 1-888-775-3773. I want to get to Mark in Los Angeles. Mark, thank you for calling. How are you doing?
Good. I just want to continue what you cut me off from yesterday.
Right on. You understand why I had to cut you off, right?
No. I don't accept that at all.
You don't accept it?
I was telling you the truth. No, I was telling you the truth about black females, and you don't want to hear the truth.
Right.
So you cut me off.
Yeah, because it's vulgar. Understand. You're being vulgar and classless.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is stating a fact.
Oh, okay. I mean, I don't really know black women closely. I can neither confirm nor deny, but let's move forward with your point, though, so that you don't get yourself hung up on again.
Yeah, just follow the smell. What I was going to say...
I shake my head.
Okay, what I want to say here is that, I don't know if you heard me on Anchor Baby, but since if you compare the year 1960 to the year 1970, which is decades before you were born, but I lived it, you could see the difference in society that the Civil Rights Bill created. Okay, now 1970 wasn't the worst year in history, but we've progressively got worse, particularly on racial issues.
Yeah.
The white guilt complex really didn't exist in 1960.
I feel like it's worse than it's ever been. It's more insane than it's ever been. Am I wrong?
No, absolutely not. I mean, when this black judge cuts the bail amount in half for this savage in Texas, that tells you black power, for lack of a better term, has infested our judicial system. Okay, 100 years ago, that guy, I'm not going to say his name, the guy that stabbed our brother Metcalf, he would have been hanging from a tree. And I'm not advocating that, but I'm saying that's how far we've fallen. Now it's kill Whitey and become a millionaire. And that's just about how much they've raised for that monster. And one other thing, too, and I know this isn't something you've said, but I think you'll relate to this. Trying to compare me to some of your black callers, which somebody did on another show yesterday, is like comparing Daniel Penny to that clown that stabbed Metcalf. You know, somebody on the show yesterday was trying to compare me to Maze. I hate to even bring her name up. I never bring her name up, but yet I'm tied into her somehow. And this Chase character from Texas, I think that's where he's from, tries to equate us. Okay, that's baloney, okay? You can't equate good with evil. Again, comparing me to Maze is like comparing Daniel Penny to the killer in Texas. It's totally wrong. The people that say that are stupid. It's attitudes like that that got us into the mess that we're in today. And white sellouts are the most disgusting animals on earth. And I'll just say this. I think you hanging up on me yesterday at your show, you have a right to do it, but it is a form of white guilt. Well, we can't offend black people. Even if it's true, we can't say it out loud.
It's not about offending black people. It's being classless.
Well,
but yeah, you can have that opinion. That's fine. I have mine. You have yours.
Yeah, but you hung up on me. You cut me off.
Which you admit I had the right to do.
You do, but it's still censorship.
Right.
Did X or Twitter have the right to cancel President Trump?
I don't think so.
They did, but he's back on it because they got a new owner.
Yeah.
Great Elon Musk.
There's a right and wrong way to do censorship. I think I was right yesterday. Maybe I wasn't, but I think I was. And I think that I thought they were wrong to do that to Trump.
I thought your ground rules were no profanity, no racial slurs, or no threats.
No.
And nothing I said yesterday encompassed those three.
Yeah, that's a slur to say that black women, what you said about black women, without repeating what you said. No, that's basically a slur. It's the same. I mean, but my thing is not slurs. It's basically being don't be vulgar or nasty is usually what my thing is, and don't spam and don't promote.
What if the description or the definition fits?
Even if it fits, sometimes there's a better way to say it, or it's irrelevant. What was the purpose of bringing it up, just other than to try to insult them or something?
Well, the subject had been
you were saying they're jealous. You were saying they're jealous of white women or something like that. It was petty. You're basically descending to you're basically acting black.
Before I called you guys, or you were talking about how black women are so,
beautiful,
are more anti-white than their male counterparts.
True.
And I agree.
Yeah.
But what I tried to say, and I'm not going to repeat it, but what I tried to say was the reason, and I've heard Jesse say this too, that we're having a problem with so many Negroes is because the mothers are teaching their kids to hate white people and hate cops. And it's only going to get worse. No matter what I say about them, they're only going to get worse.
I know, but it doesn't mean that you have to get worse.
Oh, I don't think I'm getting worse.
Well, you're making my show worse, in my opinion, for my taste.
Well, I don't know. From the comments I read, I had more people agreeing with me than you.
The crowd is always wrong.
Unless they're on your side.
True.
So again, think about what Jesse said in regards to black females, and even though you don't like what
Jesse's brutally honest with love.
So was I.
But with love, he loves black women.
Well, I don't know. Oh, if you say so.
Yeah.
But I just feel that.
And you're a Christian. You should love them too, right? Christian love?
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Wow. You remind me of JC from Little Rock, who...
I thought he was banned.
He is.
Well, I'm glad you banned him.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be banning your white brothers. And one other thing, you should have a day, and I know you're not going to do this, but it would be good if you had one day of the week where only whites get their calls answered.
Oh, how about white priority?
Yeah, White Wednesday. Let's say White Wednesday.
We could do a white priority. I'm not going to just snub my entertaining callers.
Well, I know, but I mean, your favorite caller really doesn't have a whole lot to offer. I know you give her 20,
she has a lot
25 minutes.
She has a lot of words that she spouts off, though.
But it doesn't even make sense.
Right.
What's his name? God, Anchor Baby.
Yeah.
Had her on yesterday, and he couldn't even understand what she was talking about.
I know. Yeah.
And I've heard you say that too. What are you talking about? What is it?
Right.
It's the low IQ. It's her low IQ that causes it.
And now and then I'm able to get what her point is. And her point is usually, y'all shouldn't talk about black people. You should look at yourselves.
Yeah. Well, we just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
I'm talking for myself.
Right.
I just want to be left alone. I don't know how any person who wants to raise a family in Los Angeles, a white family, can do it with the indoctrination at the schools, with white people being targeted by these people on the streets and in the schools. It just wouldn't be safe. I would never raise a family in this city. No way, man. Not to say that it's better elsewhere. One last thing I want to say, and I've been meaning to tell you this.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, of all the major cities in the U.S., the worst, without a doubt, is Chicago. I think the black crime in Chicago is so out of hand that it's got to be the worst city in the country.
You think
the
so?
Mayor, oh, sure. Even New York isn't as lawless as Chicago. I mean, it's just out of hand. I had a friend who went there. She just went to visit, and she got robbed.
Wow.
And when she called the cops, the black onlookers called her racist for calling the cops. That's the mentality that lives in Chicago.
You know, that's interesting. I've always heard about people. Chicago is like the go-to city for some reason in terms of the murder rate and stuff like that, but it doesn't have the highest murder rate. And it's partly because Chicago is very big and there's nicer areas, and then there's the south side, I think, of Chicago that's kind of bad, I guess. But, you know, there's Baltimore, which is high crime, but their population has just dwindled. And there's some decent people in
Tennessee.
Yeah, Memphis is terrible. That's true. I think they have that black female police chief who lost her. She got her gun stolen out of her car when she went into the store, if I remember right.
You notice all the black women mayors or crooks, most of them? I mean, I can't think of their names of the cities. Tiffany something or other, I can't remember her name. She was so crooked, even her black constituents wanted her out.
Wow.
When black people take power, corruption follows. Just look at Africa.
Interesting.
And honest black people like William will confirm that.
That's right.
So it's just scary what's coming up. I mean, you know, 100 years from now, or even 50 years from now, what is this country going to look like? There's only so much Trump could do to stop this invasion and this corrosion. He wants to send American-born criminals to El Salvador, to that prison. I agree with it 100%. But these commies on the Supreme Court aren't going to let him do it. And that's the problem. So I don't know what future there is for this country.
Me either.
But it's looking, with Trump, we'll probably have a few more good years.
Yeah.
But our time may be limited, and that's what scares me.
But do you agree with me? I don't know if you caught the beginning of my show. Why be upset or why be scared since there's nothing we can do about it? And since the world is evil, and the Bible tells us that the world is going to be evil, and I agree with not just letting it go if we can, elect Trump and decent people and, clean things up. Yes, do that. But a lot of this stuff is out of our hands. It's like the people are choosing evil.
Well, no, not the voters.
Right.
The voters are.
I know, but
evil.
enough of the voters are suckers, and enough of the people in power, in quote unquote power, worldly power, are choosing evil against Trump.
Well,
so there's nothing we can do. Like, do you agree with me not to be upset about it, to prevent yourself
it's hard
from being worked up?
When I heard a couple of weeks ago that Brosberg, the judge in D.C., ordering the airplanes to turn around and bring terrorists back, I couldn't help but hate the guy. I mean, am I supposed to show Christian love to an evil man?
Oh, yeah, Brosberg. Yeah. I agree with you, honestly. Yeah, James Boasberg. I looked at him with I got this demonic feeling of disdain for this guy, but he didn't do anything to me. He's just thinking he's up on his high horse trying to check Trump as if he should have any of this power to check Trump. Yeah, well, but I understand. I definitely understand the hate and disdain. But we shouldn't be like that. We're Christian. We should oppose them, of course. We should oppose them where we can.
Well, you say it doesn't affect you, but indirectly it could.
Right.
If one of these gangbangers that he's trying to keep in the country attacks you or a loved one,
I'm with you.
It will affect you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that we shouldn't get upset and angry and everything,
right.
But it's almost impossible not to when you see a black guy stab a white guy in the heart in front of people, and he gets to go home on house arrest. He'd be hanging from a tree if there were justice in America.
Let's not go there, though. But let's not go there, man.
Well, I'm just saying, I didn't advocate it. I'm not advocating for that, but it has happened in American history.
In the past, that's what they did, but it's a mess because you can't even really trust the justice system to be just.
No. And there's one last thing. This woman, Judge Rawani, I think is her name, appointed, of course, by Obama, is refused, even though she has no power to judge this, because the law that Biden brought in, over 500,000 illegals, was temporary protected status. As president, he was allowed to do that. But Trump, as president, reversed it. And this Rawani judge, this appointed judge by Obama, Satan himself, has told Trump he can't deport these people. They need to go to trial. It would take 10 years to give each one of those 500,000 invaders a hearing.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I know. They want their due process, but they didn't come in by due process. They shouldn't get due process. They should just be, you're illegal, you're out of here. You know what I mean?
Well, I think if they've had a hearing already, like many of the ones here, and they've been ordered removed, like this Abrego guy from Salvador, he's already been ordered, and he's been ordered to be removed.
Right. And that was a valid removal order.
Of course.
Yep.
Of course. And then Van Hollen, this piece of human trash, goes down there and tries to get an illegal alien who's in his country, in jail, back to the U.S.
Yeah.
That just shows the evil that's out there, man. The Democrats don't have anything but rogue judges. And if I were Trump, and I said this on Nick's show yesterday, I would ignore the judges. What can they do? Are they going to send marshals in to arrest Trump? I don't think so. The marshals work for the Secret Service. So they're not going to arrest their boss. And those judges have no real power. They have no real power against the president. They would against you or me, or a civilian. But against President Trump, he was voted in by 77 million votes, and this guy never got a vote. Brosberg and all the rest of them, they never got voted in, yet they're playing president. And I would ignore them. There's nothing anybody's going to do about it.
Interesting.
And if they want to call Trump a rogue president, let him. He's my president, just like they're calling him a felon. Big deal.
I know.
I'll vote for that felon every day.
Yeah, that is another point that I wanted to make. You know how these judges are trying to hold Trump in contempt? It's basically bluster. These people are just blustering. And what the so-called convictions of Trump, those were just bluster, meaningless. You know what I mean?
They'll be overturned, I believe. Right now, as President Trump isn't messing with it. But when he gets his lawyers together, that will be overturned on appeal, guaranteed. There's no way that could stand. Now I know we got some bad judges in New York, and we got some bad ones on the Supreme Court. Don't trust Roberts, and don't trust Amy Coney Barrett. She's a scumbag. I think she got shook up by the protests. You know, outside of her house over the Dobbs decision when it was leaked. I think she was threatened and she got scared. Now she's against Trump. And I don't know if you noticed it, but when President Trump gave his State of the Union address, and he was, you know, how he shakes everybody's hand as he's walking out.
Yeah.
He shakes the Supreme Court hand. Did you notice the look Amy Coney Barrett gave him? I mean, she just looked at him like she was throwing daggers. She does not like President Trump, and he gave her her dream job.
Yeah, interesting.
And now she's turned on him like Satan would.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't look closely at it, so I can't really comment on whether she was trying to snub him. But yeah,
well,
she's weak. She's weak and she's evil, and you could tell that from when they first interviewed her in the Senate. She was like kissing up to Black Lives Matter and George Floyd victimhood.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was ridiculous.
I thought at that time maybe she had to say certain things to get in there.
Yeah.
But now
she didn't have to go that far. That was ridiculous. It was just
I agree. The only
groveling.
thing, I don't even think any Democrat voted for her, even after she kissed up to him.
Interesting.
But she is a terrible person. And if Judge Roberts can get his mind right, we could win and overturn all of these illegal nationwide injunctions, which are unconstitutional, and they're not the words are not in the Constitution. A nationwide injunction, it's not to be found. It's all made up. There were none of these things before 1960. No nationwide injunctions against any president, and Trump's had more than all the other presidents combined. So That's something to think about. The judiciary is our enemy right now, but Trump could overcome that, and I'm sure he overcame everything else, and I think he'll beat down Satan's children on this as well.
We'll find out. Appreciate it, Mark.
All right, that's all I got for you. Thanks, Hake.
All right.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Wow, I didn't realize I was on with him that long, guys. My bad. Interesting call, though. I kind of liked it. Let me get to Denzel, a first-time caller. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Out of New Mexico. What's up, man? Thanks for calling.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Yeah, my question for you, Hake. I don't want to debate, right? Because I believe all of this is a psyop. All of this is a distraction. They're getting what they want out of us with this whole Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf situation.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to know. So you feel? Well, I don't really know what you feel about it. So you think that? What do you think about it? Like, I'm sure that you think that Karmelo Anthony was wrong, or like, you know.
I do. I think he was wrong. I don't know how the situation went down. I don't know what was in his mind, of course, but I don't think he was right to be bringing a knife to that track meet, and I don't think he was right to be all puffing up and saying "touch me again" or whatever and see what happens. That's not right.
Oh.
That doesn't. That sort of betrays a bad attitude. So I didn't like that.
Okay.
I don't like the attitude that he seemed to portray according to that report. And
okay, what about?
Yeah,
all
go
right, my
ahead.
bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And I don't. And
All right, well,
he may not have realized, but because a lot of times you stab somebody and they survive, but you stab somebody in the center of mass, in the heart, as a deadly thing. And I don't know what his mind was, but that was wrong. And I think that I'm more perturbed, I think, if I'm perturbed at all, by the rush to defend him and to attack a little bit, to attack the people who are criticizing him. Some people are going maybe too far. But the rush to defend him and raise all this money for him and fight, I kind of roll my eyes a bit at the whites seem to be overreacting as well to it. But I definitely roll my eyes at the anti-whites, if you will, who are overreacting too. I try to stay back from either side and acknowledge, I don't know, like Austin Metcalf probably could have handled it differently to save himself. But he had no way of knowing it.
Where I was going.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's where I was going with that because, you know, everybody's talking about, like, okay, Karmelo Anthony, he should have never stabbed him. Why did he bring a knife to attract me? Well, why do you have all of these school shootings that go on?
Right.
I mean, you know, you can't really do anything with a knife at a school shooting, but I mean, hey, I'd rather have something than nothing at all.
Right. I know. Yeah, I'm for people being armed, honestly. But armed and ready to use it over what seems to have been at most a petty little scuffle, little fight.
But don't you think that maybe he should have kept his hands to himself?
If he touched him, he definitely should have.
His brother admitted. His brother admitted that they put his hands on his backpack. Now, I think, I do agree that it was a little bit excessive, but at the same time, I was taught to keep your hands to yourself.
You should keep your hands to yourself. Yeah.
What's up?
I agree. You should keep your hands to yourself. But high schoolers don't do that. They fight. They push. And pushing isn't necessarily a fatal threat. You know,
no such thing as fair fights, especially when you got two twin brothers, 200 plus pounds. Dude was 5'9", 130. I'm not either way. I'm not.
Was it even a fight at that point though? Like, if it became a fight, that's. I mean, he's put himself in trouble. Basically, he got himself in trouble.
You're right. At the end of the day, they both got themselves in trouble. Like I said, I didn't want to debate. I just wanted to put that out there and just to see how what you thought about it.
I'm with you. I think
that.
Go ahead. Sorry.
You can agree that maybe both of them probably made poor choices.
Yeah. But that's more of a what you expect type of choice to push and shove, because that happens. You've been pushed and shoved. You've pushed and shoved. And
I didn't have a knife, though.
And nobody, you didn't have a knife, and the person that you pushed hopefully didn't pull out a knife. And usually you pull out a knife, and then they're like, oh, geez, okay, fine, go away. You don't stab them with it, or they don't stab you with it.
It depends on how you were raised, too. I wouldn't say I was raised, but, you're going to pull it out and use it. You don't do that because depending on where you at, you pull out a gun or a knife, and
right.
You try to threaten somebody, they're going to take that threat and they're going to
escalate even more.
So.
Yeah, you're escalating when you even just brandish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to debate or anything, man. I just, just want to get your opinions and I'm gonna, let the other callers come in and
What do you think about it? You've kind of told me, but what do you think? Give me your whole take on it.
All right. So I think that, I think both sides made poor choices. I think it's, I don't think that Austin Metcalf deserved to die. I really, I feel bad for that. Condolences to him. I wish that Karmelo would have never stabbed him. I wish he would have never, took his life. I don't think that, I don't want to judge anybody, but I wouldn't say that I want him to not serve any time, but I don't think that he's as guilty as people are making it seem. right? Whether that be probation or maybe a year or something, I do think that it's self-defense. And I just think it's a shame on both sides, both parties. And hopefully, hopefully people can learn from this, man. At the end of the day, I understand, the white people, I guess you think that you guys are getting weak now. You guys got to stand up for yourself. But, I mean, hey, if you're not going to, do it the right way, then, hey, I mean, don't cry when stuff like this happens. He could have got an official or, some type of teacher or something. They didn't have to go and try to, get the guy to move. But, hey, it is what it is. Sad loss for both sides, so nonetheless.
So you think it was self-defense?
I do.
Legitimate,
but
legitimate.
He did
nothing. You think that he should get a little bit of a slap on the wrist, indicating that you think he went.
Yeah,
what?
I think it was excessive force. I think that he definitely didn't need to do that per se. But I mean, look, that's just when you live a certain lifestyle. I don't know if you ever heard this quote. It's I'd rather get caught with it than without it. It's talking about firearms.
Uh-huh.
So it's hey, you take those chances, when you live a certain lifestyle. So if you're walking around, you're not supposed to have a gun, and you get caught with it, and hey, you got caught, and you got to go to jail, but at least you're alive. So
rather than get caught when you need it, or you get caught in a situation where you need it but you don't have it.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting.
But like I said, I'm not justifying it, man. I really do. It's heartbreaking, that has to happen. But if that was my child in a situation, I'm going to ask my son, why are you going up to people, especially the blacks, right? Because the blacks are crazy. The blacks are,
right.
Very
good point.
Why are you even, I understand that you guys the blacks need to step up. But I mean, hey, you're not, I was just raised a different way. I wouldn't be crying on camera oh, my son, he was no, he wasn't innocent. But, hey, if you want to be the heroes, and I guess, I don't know. That's it.
What would you think of somebody who went and told the teacher on you because you're in the fence rather than confronting you himself? Doesn't that seem sort of childish or girly? These people are trying to be men,
Oh, man, if somebody did that, I would be look, we're not street people. We're not street people, Hake. So if somebody were to do that, then I'm okay, well, that's just the type of person that he is. I don't.
Tattletale?
I wouldn't think, yeah, I wouldn't think nothing of it. I'm hey. But I have been in a situation like that where, I was, with this dude. Well, I wasn't with him, but I was, I was working, right? And, I was, I don't know how to explain it, but I had asked him, I guess he was an employee at a facility, and I was hey, can I be over here? And he was oh yeah, you can. And so he ended up I left and I came back, and when I came back, he snitched on me, right? I don't want to use that word, but he snitched on me.
Uh-huh.
And then he had some lady come up to me and confront me, hey, you're not supposed to be over here. And I'm looking at the guy, I'm hey man, I asked you, and I could tell that he snitched on me, but I didn't think nothing of it because,
because you were wrong for being in the place anyway, or whatever.
I was wrong, but I didn't know that I was wrong, but I was asking him
hey,
man. Am I supposed to? But I don't know, man. A lot of betas in the world, so.
Interesting. I understand your self-defense claim. Well, as we find out more, that's, as you said, it was a little excessive.
Yeah. And then, but also one thing I want to mention.
Should he should he get? Manslaughter? Do you kind of know? Could it be murder, second degree murder, heat of the moment? I think he got charged with first degree murder, which is kind of premeditated.
Man, I'm black and slow. I don't know all the breakdown of all that. I know that he did it, or I don't know.
Manslaughter is when you.
I know he admitted.
Manslaughter is when you kill somebody, but you didn't necessarily have malice beforehand.
Yeah.
When you get into I don't know how much of a fight this thing was. If it's just if you know how blacks tend to escalate things way higher than they needed to be.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to though, but
you don't have to. But they do, like a cop, like in these different situations, a cop will do something and they'll like turn it up to 11.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm suspecting that may have been the case with this.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a point. But let me ask you this, man.
Yeah.
I don't want to compare the Daniel Penny situation, but so what's your thoughts on the Daniel Penny situation?
Daniel Penny.
Compared to this.
Yeah, with Daniel Penny, it looked like he was trying to control a guy who was out of control, and he accidentally put him to sleep. Or, basically, I don't know. It ended up killing him inadvertently, It was an inadvertent killing. That did not seem like I don't even know if he was confronting him personally. I think he just snuck up behind him and took him down, trying to protect the people around whom he was mildly threatening, or whatever the situation was.
And so you think that was okay for that situation?
I think it was okay because Daniel Penny didn't mean to kill him. That's a risky move to do a rear naked choke or whatever, because you can mess somebody up by doing that. And apparently he did.
I mean, Karmelo Anthony didn't mean to kill Austin Metcalf.
I think you may be right. I think he may not have meant to kill him, but that was Austin wasn't, that I know of, threatening anybody, not even him, except for with like a shove maybe, or a punch in the face, which hopefully he wouldn't have punched him in the face, but maybe we'll find out just how threatening Austin was being.
Yeah, I mean, I want justice either way, for whatever situation, whatever, I want him to be judged by a jury of his own peers, and, whatever happens. I do think that as a black person that, we do escalate certain situations. I've seen, the police cam videos.
Yeah.
People going crazy, and, so I'm not going to say that people deserve to get, taken out, but I mean, I've seen it, man. And so sometimes I could sit here and I could be objective about the situation, but this one, it's a little tricky, but yeah, I'm going to land my plane on that.
You're right that whites and blacks, honestly, should be very cautious and hesitant to approach and confront blacks who are doing something wrong, because it can turn crazy. And
mind your own, you live long.
Yeah. What did you just say? Sorry, I said yeah.
I said mind your own, you live long.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Hake, man, nice talking to you.
Yeah, great call. Thank you, Denzel. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Peace.
Bye. There's one line open, guys. I'm going to plow through a few calls here. Chad, out of Dallas, Texas, is on the line here. Chad O. Jackson, actually. What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. Great to hear from you.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you since we went on Made by Jim Bob's podcast.
That's right. So, that was like a year ago almost, it feels like.
Yeah. Well, definitely enjoying the show. I'm going to have to disagree with that last caller. I mean, it was a very amicable and cordial discussion. However, this notion that a lot of folks have, that I think he kind of shared, is that, he should get a slap on the wrist. He being Karmelo Anthony, he should get a slap on the wrist, maybe spend a year in jail, some probation time. I don't think that will solve anything. I think that Karmelo Anthony should go away for a long time, because, I was in high school once, got in a lot of fights, little shoving matches. Never did I think to pull out a knife or a gun or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
That's someone who has impulsive personality, who is a threat to society, a threat to the general public, and a slap on the wrist and probation time isn't enough to get the message across, especially in this day and age.
Right.
To the extent that we go, soft on crime, this doesn't send a message to, those who would dare do such a thing in the future. I was talking to a friend the other day about, the medieval times, and even up into the Enlightenment era in the 1700s, where they would have public executions and even torture. And what that did was that sent a reverberating message to society that crime and misbehavior will not be tolerated.
True.
So now that we live downstream of the Enlightenment era, where everything is tolerated, live and let live, all this nonsense. When we got into the modern era, and then after that, the postmodern era, where we have these kind of weird interpretations of unusual punishment. I forget the terminology of it, but basically cruel and unusual punishment or something like that.
Yeah.
So when you have that in tandem with these people who are trying to reform the criminal justice system, and even you heard Trump saying some of this.
Yeah, I cringe when I hear him say it. Yep. Criminal justice reform.
Yeah, criminal justice reform. So when you see criminal justice reform in tandem with going after quote-unquote cruel and unusual punishment, what this does is it lets society know that we are not going to throw the book at you if you do something heinous, if you commit a crime, if you steal, one needs to look no further than the cities where they are raising the dollar amount for, if you steal something, we won't go after you if you steal something under this dollar amount. Well, what are the crime rates in those places? What are the unemployment rates in those places? On and on I can go.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the crime rates before, all of this went down, when you still had public executions, and you look at the crime rates now under soft on crime policies, the information there is jarring, and it stands to reason why would anyone want to continue in the pushing of these soft on crime policies. And I think that people like Karmelo Anthony needs to be made an example out of. Not to sound harsh or mean, but I mean this is for the sake of the whole society.
And
in my opinion,
and it would be just, honestly, for him to catch a serious conviction, a serious charge and a serious conviction.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, because that was way out of proportion to stab a guy in the heart over what maybe was a scuffle.
You're absolutely right, and I think the fact that that incident here in Texas sparked this conversation. I mean, this happened 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we're still talking about it.
Yeah.
This is a conversation that will result in one of two things. Either it will result in the kind of validation of what a lot of the black folks are saying in terms of, well, Metcalf should have never put his hands on Karmelo, even though Karmelo was kind of, egging him on, saying, I wish you would put your hands on me. That doesn't matter. What matters is, Metcalf should have never done that. So if that crowd kind of get their way, if that becomes public opinion, then you will, again, see more incidents like that happening across society, where you are kind of tying the hands of folks, who are level-headed,
right,
who do stand their ground, who do really defend themselves, because the definitions become murky. So that will happen, or, he will get the book thrown at him, as he rightly should. And that would be a step in the right direction, once again, in terms of reclaiming our society.
Yeah.
In terms of saying, look, this kind of behavior won't be tolerated. Now, I will say, with the judge lowering the bond from $1 million to $250,000, that is a step in the wrong direction. And so it's looking, as of now, that the wrong crowd will get their way.
Yeah.
And then when this goes to trial, if he pleads innocent or, self-defense, the jury will be made up most likely of people who are indoctrinated with a kind of social justice framework.
Yeah.
And the thing about social justice, and I don't want to take up too much more of my time, but the thing about social justice is people both on the right and the left adhere to social justice, whether they realize it or not, because it's in the schools, especially here in Texas. People think Texas, red state, conservative. Yeah, that's not true when you look at the curriculum that is being taught in a lot of these public schools. What they have in mind when they educate children in this country is future voters, future decision makers. And so it's for this reason that they introduce subliminally, softly, subconsciously, the relics of social justice mindset, the relics of a pro big government mindset. And so when these people come of age, they become your voters, they become your jurors, they become your peers, those who make up the public opinion. It's shaped by the government by way of the education system. And so when you see what happened with Derek Chauvin, for example, when you see all these different instances, I mean, I'm surprised still to this day that that Zimmerman was let off. But as we get deeper and deeper into this kind of social justice curriculum that's being taught in schools, you'll begin to see people making decisions not on the basis of the facts of the case, but rather all of that backdrop and background of indoctrination that they got to believe that if you're black, you shouldn't be treated as harshly because of the years of systemic racism and all this other nonsense.
Yeah.
And so you judge incorrectly based upon this feeling sorry for someone based upon their color of their skin or whatever the case may be. I fear that that's the direction we're going in as society. And I think this Karmelo Anthony Metcalf situation kind of is a pivotal moment in defining what kind of nation are we. That's
true, man. And it's crazy how deeply that racism brainwashing has had for decades. My parents' generation has that. The brainwashing from the propaganda about the 60s and you don't compare anything to slavery and you don't compare anything to the Holocaust. And what if in my generation and Gen X as well, what if our great-grandparents were slave masters? I'm like, what if? Who cares? But still, I remember being in high school, we went up to Pasadena or somewhere where black people were. We didn't see a lot of black people down where we were. But I remember having the notion, don't look racist. And it's like, what? That's a crazy mindset. And you're right, it gets into people and it twists their thinking. A kiss-up culture. It's evil.
Right, 100%.
Well,
man, it was nice talking to you.
One quick thing. I know you're a history guy. And I picture this case becoming another history story like Trayvon, because Trayvon is cast as the victim when he was kind of the perpetrator. Like Mike Brown, like the Central Park Five, like that Jewish guy. I was talking with the Punchy TV guys in the taping that we're going to come out on Monday. This Jewish guy who was like the basis for the founding of the ADL, who allegedly had done something with a young girl and blamed it on a black guy. There's all these different stories where the perp, the overreaction, let's call it, the big reaction against the perp makes the historians cast the perp as like the victim and cast the black people as the victim, and the whites as the bad guys. They pick and choose which wrong people they want to point out. Right. Propaganda.
No, you're 100% right, and I call these moments. These are propagandized moments that we look at to kind of find our identity as a country. And so as of now, when you look at Helen Keller and Martin Luther King and Mark Twain and, Harriet Tubman and FDR, like on and on I can go, they mythologize these people to tell students that these are the quintessential Americans. These are the people who, did something great or wrote something great or said something great that defines who we are as a country. And if you look at all these different people and moments, you'll find that they're all either globalist or Marxist or satanic even.
Wow.
And so the moments are key. I mean, when you look at Harriet Tubman, for example, a lot of the stuff that we hear in our classrooms that she did is not even true on many different fronts. Same is true of Helen Keller. Same is true of Martin Luther King. And then, too, if you look at the so-called March on Washington, that's a moment that was planned by a communist. When you look at this so-called church bombings that took place in the 1960s. You'll find that communists were behind many of those, but they made it look like quote unquote white supremacists did it because they wanted to validate and make the civil rights movement appear to be a legitimate force. And so they had to create these kind of traumatizing moments to
fake hate
get you
crimes
to go along with it.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah, fake hate crimes. And so what they do is they create moments, and then they take moments, like they take real moments and run with them. And so to your point, with this Karmelo Anthony situation, it's, in my opinion, a real moment that they are going to try to take and run with it to, on the one hand, communicate to black folks, look, this is what standing your ground looks like. This is what, getting your get back against white folks looks like. So they're going to do that.
Yeah.
And then there's there's so many different opportunities propaganda-wise that they could take this moment and utilize it to their advantage for, because we've seen it historically to the point that you made.
Yeah. Great call, Chad. Appreciate hearing from you, man.
Thank you.
Well, take care.
Have a good one.
All right.
All right, bye.
Bye. Chad O. Jackson. He's the guy behind Uncle Tom 2. I say Uncle Tom 2 because I prefer it big time to Uncle Tom 1. But Uncle Tom 1 is it's cool. But Uncle Tom 2, check it out. And he's on YouTube and elsewhere. Been on the JLP show. Nice. Let me read a few super chats before I get back to the calls. Hang tight, callers. There is, I think, one line open. We have, see, I'm on Chad O. Jackson's YouTube channel, his X, his, oh, Lord, what did I just do? Hold on. That's interesting. I can see it there, but I can't see it here. I guess I should... let me just read some super chats. Is Anchor Baby there that he can like turn off and turn on that thing? I'm gonna read some super chats, guys. Thanks. It was weird because I could see it there on the Studio 8 desktop, but I couldn't see it on the display. Okay. Thank you, Gregatron, for your support as always. Thank you, 555-555-565 for the ice cream and lemons. Shout out to Quartus41 and the people who support over on Rumble. Let me check over on, where's my buymeacoffee.com / did I close that Buy Me a Coffee? I must have, yeah. Over on buymeacoffee.com / the Hake Report. I'm not going to show it at this moment. Oh, you know what? I might. No, see what's going on. It's weird.
No, something's wrong with the input. You're doing something.
Am I?
Are the inputs wrong?
Oh, maybe it is.
Are you showing Studio 8?
Supposedly I am. Let's see. Oh, no. Okay. That was weird.
What were you on?
Skype. It switched to the Skype thing. That's odd. Well, thanks anyway. Anchor Baby, helping out. Okay. Over on buymeacoffee.com / the Hake Report, I got various supers. Cesar, oh yeah, Cesar got this one coffee. And he got 3 coffees actually. Sup, Hake? He says, what's up, Cesar? He sent this meme. Can you react to a meme I messaged to you on X? If you do, have you heard of any of those cases on the right side of the meme? And let me show this to you. I think where's my mouse? I think I put it in here, right? Maybe I didn't. I do. I know I saved it onto my photos folder. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. What the Hake? What the Hake? Maybe I'll just go to my DMs. Don't look at my DMs, guys. I swear it was there. Oh, I know where I saved it. Okay, anyway. Bum. Man, where is this guy's thing? He sent it to me and let's see. I don't know what that is. What's going on? Okay. Yeah. This is where he sent it, but it's not showing. Oh, there it is. Okay, nice. It's just been slow. Will you remember him? Austin Metcalf. Pardon the strange interlude. Austin Metcalf. I wonder if I can save this. Brutally stabbed to death by a black teen, Karmelo Anthony, at the high school track meet. And it has all these facts on the lower side of this meme thing, if you will. Talks about 60% of all violent crime out of only 13% of the population. Out of 13% of the population, not all 13% commits it, but out of that population comes 60% of all violent crime, which sounds like it's probably true. I'm not sure. 2022 school shootings by race, black, 56%. Unknown, 21%. White, 3%. Latino, 18%. Asian, 0%. That could be. I don't know. 1 out of every 2 black men will commit murder. I don't know if that's true. That's a lot. That's high. Sounds high. We've been forced together for 60 years. Is it worth it? Blacks commit, it says, 51% of all murder. I think that's true. 27% of all rape. 53% of all robbery. 33% of all felony assault. Some of these facts may be true, may not be true. I haven't looked at them in a while. Every 13 minutes, I think this one is extreme. Every 13 minutes, a black man rapes a white woman in the United States. That one I doubt. Unless you're using the term rape very loosely. Maybe in his mind. You know, when you commits adultery with her in his heart, perhaps. I don't think that one is true. Because it's like 20,000. They throw around the word rape way too loosely, in my opinion. Blacks per capita cost to the U.S. taxpayer $750,000 over the course of their lifetime. Rather than adding to society, they're on average taking away from society. I've seen that number. I don't know. It might be true. Could well be true, actually. Average black IQ, they say, is 75, white 101. Both pretty low. Not good. But I do remember some of these stories, Cesar. And he's not necessarily avowing this, nor am I necessarily, but do you remember them? This is sort of a social justice kind of feeling, but pro-white purportedly, or anti-black or whatever. Propaganda thing. But I remember some of these perps. Okay, so victim, Victoria Rose Smith, age 3. Jerry Robinson and Ariel Robinson, same last name. Hey, they were foster parents to this little white girl and beat her, they say, to death. Trevon Lee Glenn, I don't know if I remember that story. Trevon Lee Glenn, Keaton Morrison, age 2. Trevon Lee Glenn burned the toddler's private area, I guess, before beating him, stuffing his body in a bag. Terrible. I do remember this gal. I remember this face in Levi Cole Ellerby, 6 months old. Felicia Smith, purportedly enraged over a Facebook post. Smith abducted Levi from his home by using mace spray on his mother. His mother, if I remember the story right, was actually a white lesbian with this black lesbian. And Smith bound Levi, this little white boy, son. Looks like he might have one of those birth defect issues, like a Down syndrome or something, but I'm not sure. Shout out. Bound him to a nearby train tracks and set the infant on fire. I remember that one because I was researching blacks setting whites on fire because it like happens. And imagine if whites were setting blacks on fire, we would never hear the end of it, right? But blacks set whites on fire sometimes. So I do remember this case. I don't remember those details. I don't think I ever read those. But they were lesbians together, and I don't know. At least according to the story, part of the story that I read. Cash Gernon. Brown abducted Cash from his home, carried him into the street, and Did him in with a knife. No motive been established. Random, senseless murder, they say. Reese Bowman, Leah Walden. Daycare worker admitted smothering the little kid with a blanket because she wouldn't sleep. Yeah, that's that mess, anger, nastiness. Did I read this one already? Abducted this little boy, 12-year-old anyway. Not necessarily little. On Christmas Eve, burned him with a blowtorch. Terrible. Darius Seasons, Cannon Hinant. We've all heard about that one. The whites were all into that one because he was bicycling. And this neighbor shot him in the head. Killed him. Darius Sessoms, Cannon Hinant, 5-year-old. I remember this one because this crazy-faced Bianca Ellis gal, she stabbed the boy and the mother, or not the mother? The mother lived. This is a crazy story, pretty recent. Stalked him in a grocery store, this crazy black gal. Bianca Ellis. Stalking, and then in a grocery store, Ellis attacked Julian and his mother in the parking lot with a stolen knife. Julian was stabbed in the neck, succumbed to his injuries. 3-year-old boy. Terrible. Do you remember them? I vaguely remember some of them, but I don't think remembering is the point. But it's kind of like, if you're mocking say her name, it's sort of satanic. I think it's good to mete out true justice and move on, forget. It's trying to tempt you to identify with the whiteness the way that the blacks are identifying with the blackness, which is a trap, an anger trap. It's a pit. That's my take on that. Thank you very kindly. Great 3 coffees, man. I do remember some of those cases in the meme. Cesar. Very cool. Pretty brutal. I should have given a little bit of a warning for the ladies, the faint of heart, and the kids. Because sometimes I'll talk about stabbing and stuff, and people with kids will be like, James, can you just not talk about that right now? Like, oh, I'm not even really thinking about it emotionally. Kind of like when women get all emotional. Stop talking about the R word. You know, apre. Nice. More. So that was a meme. It was a white meme. Thank you, Cesar. KD with 3 coffees. What did Humpty Dumpty do? Oh, why did Humpty Dumpty have to have a great fall? To make up for his miserable summer. Hey, nice. Ronnie says, my brother Hake, thank you for allowing Mark to call in. There are people in the world who deny the existence of the type of bigotry that Mark displays, and I am glad he can serve as evidence of it. What a sad way to live, harboring all that anger toward other Americans because they're of a different race. Strong black arm emoji. You or us. Strong black arm emoji. The word us, and then thanks hands. Thank you for being patient with him and allowing him to bless us with his views. I take issue a little bit with one of the things that you said. Because they're of a different race. It's not because they're of a different race, man. It's because of what the different race does all too often. But beyond that, I sort of agree with you, but like, I don't think that we're better than Mark, you know? Nice, but you're welcome, Ronnie. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. But, you know, like, I don't know if you're arguing that racism exists because Mark thinks he's racist, and racism is a good thing in Mark's mind, and racism is basically an anti-white slur to calling them what everybody is. Nice. Right on, Ronnie. Thank you. JC from Little Rocket, man, Arkansas. Don't compare to that trash bag, Mark. Shame. But you are. I mean, that's why I don't see myself different from Mark. I don't see you different from Mark. You say crazy stuff and you're angry and you say stuff that's not true. And why wear a shirt that's too big? What? This shirt is too big? Oh, never trust a gay on fashion. Doesn't he say that he... I don't know that he's... I never heard him say it, but I heard that people say that he said it. You think this shirt is too big? I think this is a norm. It's within reason. It's certainly not like ridiculous. It's a little baggy, but it's not like ridiculous. Anyway, there are more slurs being used, so blaming Mark I can turn this on over here. For the quality of your show going down. Well, he's a fraction. I'd respond to Boom Hour Jeff, but my subtitles weren't working. Shame on Hayden for his life. Whatever. We need Maze, Tony, Freddie, Miss Parks, John, Jeremiah, Chuck, T, Ronnie, Stephen, JC, Earl, Russ, and even Hamza if he respects you. No, man. No. And Popcorn. Yeah. Where's he been, Popcorn? Who knows? Busy. Hope he's fine. Wish him well. James, you're helping to start a race war, just like I told Joel. No, man. The race war has been going on. It's like the trade war that's been going on against America, unanswered. And we are bringing peace amidst the war that is going on. It's been a war on whites, and I encourage, like what Denzel said, I agree with him that whites should not stand up in the wrong way. Denzel from New Mexico. Shout out. Nice to hear from him. Notice the names I try to mention should try to educate you. We give you more grace than you deserve, but you've banned most of us. No, I've only banned people whom I justifiably banned, I'm pretty sure. But your other callers can degrade, threaten, and try to dehumanize, and you barely reprimand them. They dehumanize me, even. That's okay. It's okay to be dehumanized. Don't overreact to that, If anything, you instigate it. Hating never helps anyone grow. I agree. But yes, continue to call me evil and always insult my Christianity. Bye, James. P.S. I still want to know why you consider yourself not good since no man is good. I think you just answered your own question. What the heck? But, yeah, you were talking about hating, and is it true that you hate the woman who accused that 14-year-old young man who got terribly lynched, according to the story? Is it true that you hate beautiful Asmodor, your Christian brother? Is it true that you hate Derek Chauvin? Check yourself. Shout out. Thank you for your coffees, everybody. I think that's everything, right? I got to get back to the calls. Joel Friday TV is coming up. Jeff in Louisiana is on the line over here. Jeff, thank you for calling and holding, man. What's up?
No problem, man. Tell JC to don't use calcium peroxide boil years of that. We don't count on subtitles.
Oh, that's funny.
But man, I won't say I enjoyed your last caller thoroughly. I subscribed to the channel while I was waiting.
Nice, right on. Yeah, Chad O. Jackson. I can endorse that man's. He's a researcher, which is a good thing.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed his call, but did you hear about the school shooting in Texas yesterday?
I don't think I did.
You know why?
Nope.
It was a black kid, did it?
Oh, you know what? I think JLP covered, I think it was the other day. It was maybe a couple of days ago. Yeah, he was a black kid who did it. I don't think that we even showed him, but Jesse pointed out that he was a black kid.
But okay, you know what got me though was he went home and he told his family he did it. They made him turn himself in. And when he turned himself in, every white cop shook his hand before they handcuffed him.
Oh Lord! Just because he turned himself in, that's why they shook his hand?
Then his mama was standing in the back. There's one black cop out there. She didn't want nobody to touch him but the black cop.
That's crazy. What a mess. That's ridiculous.
Man, it's just, and
that's a grown man. Sorry.
If you want to end racism in this country, I tell you what, we need to do two things. The FCC needs Donald Trump needs to pass the EO for the FCC to fine CNN, Fox News, anybody that reports on white crime, white on black crime, or black on white crime. No, they only report that. No, they only report one side. Each time they place like that, they need to fine on millions of dollars to stop it from happening. And we need to shut down GoFundMe and whatever the other crap is that funds this crap. Because once they quit advertising it like this, the only Democrats and liberals watch CNN and CBS and all that, and Republicans watch, conservatives watch Fox News. Once you start finding them for reporting one side of stuff, they quit doing it and have to report these as fair and balanced. Having GoFundMes and everything to give these people all this money, it quit happening.
Yeah, a lot of this attention is evil. A lot of these stories should be local stories, not national stories. And the fact that they become national stories, the crowd is usually going to interpret the story wrong and react to the story wrong. So I predict evil comes out of this stuff.
But it's only because they only report one side of the story. They don't. You never see CNN report like with that their state schools. They report that.
Right.
It gets reported.
Yeah. They're not honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, I ain't hold you on one more thing real quick. Or two things real quick. The family of Karmelo Anthony opened a merch store with shirts say "Free Karmelo."
Yeah. Yeah, and Big Bump sent me something, but by the time I got around to looking at it, it had been taken down, or it was the reel or moment on Instagram had gone away. But I heard something about that.
And the last thing I reported is over in England, they made it a law now to where if you ask somebody if they speak English, it's a hate crime.
Oh, is it? To pray or to what? To what?
To ask somebody if they speak English is a hate crime.
Oh, my gosh. What a mess.
And that's our mother country, supposedly.
That's in England, huh?
Yeah, it's in England. UK, they made it, I've seen on TV today, they reported that it is now a hate crime to ask somebody if they speak English. And the reason was because the guy is hard of hearing, couldn't hear someone and asked them if they spoke English, and they passed the law for that.
You don't have the freedom of speech in the UK. I have heard that before. People get arrested just for preaching against homosexuality.
Yeah, that's what is it, 200 feet of a pull-up building or something. I mean, it's just crazy. Anyway, man, I know you got more calls. I can hold you up. I just want to tell you a couple things real quick.
Yeah. Right on, man.
Okay.
Good call.
Have a good one.
Thanks for the tips. Take care. Bye. And I hung up before the click because I didn't want to click. I'm looking at this guy who's promoting the... Of course they have merch. Of course. That's funny. That's terrible. Oh, Terrence posted it. He now has T-shirts with his face on it for sale. I'm sure people are going to buy it. Free Mellow. Oh, Mellow, short for Karmelo. Karmelo with a K, not to be confused with the ball player or whatever. I was thinking, I think I told you guys, I was pondering getting a LA Strong shirt when they were overreacting to the fires and stuff. So, Chad Jackson, shout out. That's historic. We heard from Chad Jackson today. Right on. Let me keep it moving though. Remind me to set the redirect for Joel Friday TV. Rick.
And that was so
Oh,
frustrating.
Rick, you're not ready. Lord have mercy. William in California is on the line over here. William.
Hey. Hey, James, how you doing, man?
Doing well. How about you?
Oh, pretty good.
Sweet.
I'm glad you let Mark speak about what he was talking about because it was interesting.
Yeah.
As you know, I told you he's a little older than us. He's seen this stuff.
Right.
And I was just a kid in the 60s. I didn't know anything about politics. I was playing on skateboards, but he was around when everything jumped off, so he's qualified.
That's right. Yep. Do you think he's bigoted?
No, I don't think he dislikes blacks because they're black. He dislikes blacks because of the way they act. That's
right.
Fair.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
I thought that it was a little nasty what he said about the black women.
So?
But exactly.
Wait a minute. Where's this white guilt coming from? So what?
You think that's white guilt to be like, that's nasty?
Yeah.
I think it's just classless.
Oh, no. As many classless callers you have, that's kind of rich, man. Come on, man.
But there's like a level of now there's classless and then there's kind of vulgar because you can call them low class or whatever, but who's okay? Give me
you think the truth is vulgar. That's fine. I don't feel that way.
I don't even think it's necessarily the truth. I haven't hung around black women, so I can't really say. I don't know. I don't know black women like that. But
you want to?
No.
You know. Yeah. I keep telling you. You know what I told you.
That's funny.
And no, that's not Letitia James's hair. No, it's not. See, I know what you think. I know how you think. You know, she got the same charge that Trump got. You know that?
That's funny. Yeah, I heard that.
Same charge.
So she falsified records. She falsified documents to get a better sale or something.
And the difference is he actually paid his loans off. There were bigger loans for different type of stuff. She got there's a difference with this. How many units you have in the building? You know, there's different rules for different buildings.
But I heard that Trump's supposed crime with that wasn't even a real crime. Like it wasn't even false.
No.
Like it was just a difference of opinion.
Well, the lender didn't even have a complaint against Trump. He said, hey, he paid it all back. He's not even a big deal. All he did was embellish his I don't know what Trump did. It didn't even work. But she's actually being sought after for the exact same thing. So
yeah, except that she actually may have been actually guilty of something. Maybe.
Yeah, well, there's I think their rent control in New York is worse than ours in California. You know, I have different rules for different, buildings I have. Some of them are 2 units, some of them are 6 units. And I can tell you that there's a difference in some of the rules. And I don't pay a mortgage. It's not that. But there are different rules. She violated that.
Interesting.
So,
yeah.
No, hey.
Letitia James.
Yeah. You're mesmerized.
I told Karen Williams, who's like she calls Anchor Baby sometimes. She might have called me before. I told her that I defended her against Mark.
Against what?
Against Mark, because Mark said that black women are smelly or whatever. And so I told her, because Karen Williams smells great. I imagine.
Oh, how do you know?
I don't.
So, but no. So, but the thing is, on a serious note, man.
Yeah.
I can't get with this celebrating this kid getting stabbed and finding a way to minimize it and say a slap on the wrist and probation. That is insane, and it's very insane for blacks to celebrate this situation. And there is some merch they're selling T-shirts or something. And
of course they would. I mean,
mm-hmm.
they practically should. If they should go
well,
if you're gonna be for evil, go all the way for evil and be proud of it.
That's just like the judge who says she's a black Republican. First of all, when you say you're a black Republican, I'm suspect right there. It's like I don't even need to know that you're black Republican.
So I heard that. Is that confirmed? This judge who let him off?
I don't even know. James, you know what? We don't even know if she'll pick up the case.
Yeah,
that area
and honestly,
is northeast of Dallas. That's northeast of Dallas. It's kind of conservative. Frisco is kind of conservative.
And honestly, black Republican doesn't mean anything because most Republicans are rhinos.
Don't mean nothing.
Yeah, black Republicans, it doesn't. There's no credit to you necessarily.
Right. There's no credit there.
Yeah.
But she. I don't even know if she'll pick up the case or not. Now you've got to really think about her constituents up there in Frisco. They're looking at this what she did.
Frisco, Texas. Yeah.
So when we get into this thing with the courts, if he's found guilty, I don't know what's going to happen because they did shut that money off. They cut it off.
Oh.
They looked up like over $500,000. They're like, oh no, for this reason, no. That's why I was telling you. Slap on the wrist, yes, if you're in California.
Oh, that's what would happen in Cali. Yeah.
First of all, what he told the officers, that's kind of incriminating. Second, the first thing, where he doesn't really have a case that I don't think it's solid, is that you can't have weapons at no campus.
I know. I don't like that rule.
You're about arming. Yeah. No, wait a minute. You said you like arming.
Right.
That's with college kids. Anything K through 12, no. That's been the rule for many years. You don't have weapons. It's not cool.
Yeah, I know. Like, I think they should change those rules, honestly. Oh, they should probably get rid of the schools. Or at least defund them, and have them go something. It's a mess. It's a big mess, but I think
Trump's on his way to doing it. I mean, he's not too happy, but they're kind of pissed off about everything anyway. With the Department of Education, and they should go. They actually should go.
Yeah.
But so it is not 60% of the crime. It's more like 80 something. I've seen somebody saying in the chat.
Oh.
Because somebody said you really, and it's kind of true. You really can't count old ladies and babies and infants. So if they're 13% of the population,
right?
80% of the crime. That means only 4%, 5% of the people are doing this.
Yeah, no, it's a mess. They shout out to the blacks, and they get away with so much crime too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that they get away with it because the people they do it on one another. But it's not right.
I think
it goes like not counted. All these cities have a motive to cook the books and not count as much as the crime that's actually happening.
That's like your caller was saying. What do you think about what's his name, Penny, the guy in New York, the Marine that made the guy pass out in the subway or whatever? You can't compare that with.
Right.
Two different situations, I don't know why. See, that's what I mean by celebrating what blacks do. He's basically minimizing what the kid does, and he says he wants to slap the wrist and everything. Ronnie super chats. He wants to celebrate it so bad that he calls in super chats, accuse Mark of being racist. Mark is just telling the truth.
Right on, man. I gotta run. Good call, William and Callie. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Black Friday tomorrow.
Indeed. Tomorrow on JLP. All right. Rick in Hampton, VA is ready. Rick, thank you for calling. Go.
Man, Brother James, it was also good to hear from my brother, Mr. William, man.
Yeah.
When I hear from you guys, man. And, one guy who I haven't heard from, man, of our brothers, Art from Ohio, man. Have y'all heard from him?
I'm sure he'll call back again soon. I feel like he tried to call in, but couldn't get through or something happened recently.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Well, man, I got some information for y'all today, man. They, I think, Karmelo, Anthony, and Hunter, was it Hunter Metcalf?
The brother?
Yes. They supposed to have a press conference coming up. I don't know if they already had it or what.
Like a joint press conference?
Yes, a family press conference.
Between
Anthony's family.
The two families?
No. Just Karmelo Anthony's family.
Oh, okay. So the accused, his family, the suspect's family is going to have a press conference. Oh, okay, well, that's going to be interesting.
Yes,
sort
they
of.
want the police to release the footage. Here's my thing about releasing the footage. If they release the footage, yes, the video.
Okay,
they
so people took some cell phone. There was some cell phone video.
Yes, you would think. I would have thought, man. You know how it goes, James. Anything, something pop off, first thing people pull out is their cell phone.
Right.
Everybody got a cell phone.
Yeah.
And so they said there's some video out there. But here's my thing. If they show the video, you know how corrupt the media is.
Yeah, and people's own minds. People aren't a good judge of video.
Right. And they'll edit it, and now they'll take that main evidence they had. I don't blame the police. We just gonna hold everything to the day of court. And then everything comes out. That way the media can't get involved and put their little agendas in it and stuff, and you know, if they don't get to worry about, it's gonna be a race riot if we don't show the videos. Well, if you show the videos, that evidence is gonna be gone, because by the time it gets through being edited and, you know, propaganda, it ain't gonna be nothing worth to even watch anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, the court of public opinion is a mess.
You know, to me, I wasn't there, but from what it looked like and the evidence I see, you know, I still say I have gotten butt whoopings in the past, and I didn't want to. I ain't have a desire to beat the person that beat me up. I wanted to kill him. Hey, when you stab somebody in the heart, man, that's hardcore. That's rage.
Yeah, interesting.
It really is. You know, and so from what it looked like to me, you know, the jury they gonna have to come. It's gonna be up to the jury, man. They're gonna have to really decide what's good and evil instead of on cut me color. If they decide on what's good and what's evil, it's an easy case, really.
Interesting.
You know, it's an easy case. Same with even with what President Trump doing. You see all these doggone judges popping their head up out the water. But yet when Biden had the borders wide open, you didn't hear a peep out of no judge.
Interesting.
That's illegal. Isn't that illegal to have the borders open and unsecured? That's illegal and against the law, isn't it, James?
It's funny. It's funny that you bring that up. That's just common sense, you know? Common sense is not allowed. Oh Lord, did that really just happen?
And it irks me when President Trump tries to deport most of these people, criminals. Here comes these judges. Who was that senator going down to bring the guy that was a criminal back to the state?
It's terrible.
You remember that and you know, and it kills me, James. It's like, it lets you know how evil the Democratic Party is. It's a very evil organization, man.
It really is. Rick, I got to run, man. Sir. It's good talking with you.
Okay, God. Okay, you too, James. Love y'all, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow, brother.
All right. Take care, man. And the rest of the callers. Robert in Kansas, I'll give you priority tomorrow or whenever you're able to call in, man. And the rest of you guys, I will. I got to go. Joel Friday coming up next. There it is. Nice. Bye, guys. Take care. Peace in the Middle East. Or at least in your hearts. If you seek it and pursue it. Bye.
I swear